There was something very special about Saturday mornings when I was a kid. While adults were sleeping in, kids everywhere in the 1980s were waking up early for one thing: cartoons. See, this is something that my kids will never grasp. The excitement and expectation of something that was limited. With an instantly gratified generation and an on-demand culture, this notion, this antiquated form of content delivery is obsolete. But see, the experience of spending the first 5 hours of the day in my pajamas with a bowl of my favorite cereal to watch cartoons, simply because it was the only time you could, I believe it was formative for my generation's culture. While a Saturday morning cartoon block wasn't new, there was something unique that happened in the 80s, and for kids like me, those shows permeated our childhood. Our make-believe was centered around the worlds and characters from those cartoons. When we weren't watching them, we were being them. And it's largely thanks to Reaganomics. See, President Reagan deregulated media and broadcasting. He appointed this guy, Mark Fowler, as commissioner of the FCC in 1981. Together, they radically changed the look and reach of Saturday morning cartoons. Networks and manufacturers began developing toys and programs as a package.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers, robots in disguise.
By 1985, the 10 best-selling toys were tied to TV shows, and we ate it up. The consumerist culture that was created in the early 80s defined how we interacted with our media. It wasn't enough to just watch Masters of the Universe. I needed to engage. I wanted to be a part of the story, and with the right toys, I could be. Cartoons like Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, they were mostly formulaic with cheap animation, but kids everywhere were begging for their merchandise come Christmases and birthdays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, young lady!
But the consumerism of the 80s can be no better summed up by 4 letters: TMNT. Nothing quite matched the fever pitch and phenomenon of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Created by these guys in 1984 and hitting the airwaves in 1987 in the form of a 5-part miniseries, the Turtles defied expectations and changed the landscape for Saturday morning programs by turning a weird and goofy cartoon into one of the most popular and profitable franchises in history. And by the end of the 80s, television had changed. Cable networks such as Nickelodeon and USA were airing cartoons throughout the week because of the strong marketing potential that Saturday morning cartoons had proven to have. Now I want to talk about USA's Cartoon Express because I watched this a lot. And while it started in 1982 with syndicated Hanna-Barbera shows like Scooby-Doo, Flintstones, Johnny Quest, and Space Ghost, it was the later lineups that really captivated me. They were weird and high concept. They seemed to be a little more mature. Dino Saucers, Jason the Wheeled Warriors, Cops, Savage Dragon, Street Fighter. For me, these shows began to whet my appetite and sort of prime me for the Saturday morning cartoons to come. As Reagan's presidency ended and shows like Ninja Turtles ruled the Saturday morning airwaves, parents began to push back, eventually forcing the FCC to enact the Children's Television Act. Throughout the 90s, regulations of advertising and educational programming continued to plague network television. One by one, NBC, ABC, CBS, they forfeited their cartoon blocks for more profitable and less regulated programming. But not all was lost for Saturday morning cartoons.
Rocks! Kids! Rocks! Kids! Fox! Kids! Rocks! Kids! Fox! Kids! What's up, the rock?
for tons of new fun coming soon to Fox Kids Rocks Kids!
Fox Kids, easily the most nostalgic for me in terms of Saturday mornings. I religiously tuned into Fox Kids. I even joined their kids club. When Fox Kids launched in 1990, it wasn't a great block, but a few shows stood out, particularly Bobby's World. 2 years later, Fox introduced 4 shows to its lineup that would begin to form a block of cartoons that defined Saturday mornings for me. Tiny Toon Adventures, Eek the Cat, X-Men, and Batman the Animated Series. Compared to the 80s, this new breed of cartoons, they weren't talking down to their viewers. They weren't simply vehicles for marketing merchandise. They were smart, with quality animation and sophisticated writing. They didn't just raise the bar. They created a whole new playing field for children's entertainment. By 1997, Fox had added The Adventures of Sam and Max, Spider-Man, The Tick, and the Animaniacs, to name a few. Think about that. One network, and a Saturday morning lineup with some of the best cartoons of all time, half of which won or were nominated for Emmys. This was an amazing time to be a cartoon fan, and there was nothing quite like the anticipation and excitement of Saturday morning cartoons.